How's it? Welcome to the Bearded Gooner Show. I am Tanner, the Bearded Gooner. Post-game reaction to the Thanksgiving Day here in America loss to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League. 2-1 defeat at the Emirates. Empty stadium from what I could see, both on from pictures on Twitter, excuse me, and on television. I watched the game via the Bleacher Report live feed. Going to be joined here shortly by Hopes on my channel. Maybe Terry Davis as well. I am a Gooner at I am a Gooner on Twitter. Just a lackluster, dead performance today. Just seemingly no real interest. Honestly, no real interest in the first half, I think, from either team in playing this match. I don't know, maybe the American Thanksgiving holiday taken over, and then these guys, maybe they had a little too much turkey. That said, American viewers, I want to wish you guys all a happy Thanksgiving real quick while I'm thinking about it. Hope you guys all have a chance to spend the holiday with your family, friends, your loved ones. One thing I'm very thankful for is the ability to be able to do this, and thankful for all of my followers on Twitter, everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel, and who does give me a watch here whenever I get a chance to do my show. Really thankful for all of that. So thank you guys very much for making all of that possible. So right into it. 2-1 defeat. Aubameyang gets a goal in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Give Arsenal a 1-0 lead. Bear with me here. The dogs may start barking. I may have to mute you. And the joys of live, unedited YouTube viewing. Anyway, not many chances created in the first half at all. Quite frankly, Aubameyang had a chance, and Joe Willock cut him off. I actually heard the commentator on Bleacher Report Live say two forward players proved to be too many, or one too many for Arsenal, and it was just a kind of an interesting take there, just when you think about everything that we've discussed regarding Unai Emery. Sort of no forward players, no attack, no linkage in the midfield. And then a commentator kind of says that. We're going to welcome in Hopes here in just a minute. There he is. Everybody welcome in Hopes to the show. Hopes, I've been going for about 3 minutes on my own here, but welcome in, mate. Glad you could join me.
Thanks for sending me the link. How are you?
Well, it's not exactly the happiest of Thanksgiving holidays over here across the pond, given that effort. I'm not even going to say the result, given the effort. So, what are you hearing over your way, and give us your thoughts.
My personal thoughts, first and foremost, is, well, there are several. That hurt. That really hurt tonight. I didn't even bother going. I kind of knew what was going to happen. I've been tweeting, sending some tweets out there, and my thoughts are just, how can the board just leave us out to dry like this? Look, it's not working. We get that. It hasn't been working for the last 7, 8, however many games, For me personally, it hasn't been working since the end of last season. So how much more do these people sit back and just wait and watch? Just running us into the ground. I mean, do they actually care? I mean, I had a thought about Josh Kroenke. Personally, for me, it's all on the board. I've stopped blaming Unai Emery now. He clearly isn't up to it. The only blame I can assign to Unai Emery, in my opinion, is you're in over your head. Just get out. But and it stops there, because there are all the classic signs that he is out of his depth. He's in too deep. So then I look at his You know, his seniors, his superiors, the hierarchy of our club. You know, how can they watch that? How can, you know, yeah, what are like Raul, Edu, the legend, you know, okay, forget Josh and Binay temporarily, momentarily, but like Raul came from Barca, right? Barcelona, Edu, you know, what hasn't he won with the Arsenal? So it was just disgusting watching. Like it's like they just don't care, you know. What did you think of it? What did you
Echo your sentiments exactly, man. They looked absolutely. I'll say this. I jokingly at the beginning said that both teams seemed to be suffering from a bit of a turkey coma. Again, the Thanksgiving holiday over here. It just they in the first half, neither team really seemed interested at all in playing this game. It just lackluster, effortless, joyless. Everything you just said. He seems Emery does. He seems out of his depth. I will say that when Aubameyang scored the goal, I was actually pretty surprised at the celebration. I said last week with Ray on Arsenal Fan Circle that I think instinct takes over. You know what I mean? And as a fan, we kind of went back and forth about this. We've gone back and forth about this a few times with the idea of fans actually rooting for Arsenal to lose, or rooting for any of your favorite teams to lose. And I think for me, I get the sentiment behind it. It's that change is needed. You're afraid of a circumstance, in this particular case being a win, granting Emery a stay of execution. So you simply root for the loss to instigate the change that's needed. I get the sentiment, but as I sit down and I watch the game, for me, again, instinct takes over, and I root for them. And I think instinct for the players takes over. They're competitive. They go out there. They want to win. And when I say, and we say we don't play, we see the players not playing for the manager. They're playing. They're not listening. There's a big difference between not playing for a manager, because if you're not playing for them, you just never see that in any sport at any level. What you see is players who don't respond to the instruction, who simply don't listen to what the manager is telling them to do. Case in point, I didn't see this on TV, but last weekend against Southampton, there was a story. Kieran Tierney had the ball for a throw-in on the touchline. Emery was barking at him to throw to the center of the pitch to Matteo Guendouzi. Lacazette is down the touchline saying, no, throw it forward, throw it down the line, while Emery's barking out instruction. Lacazette's there arguing with him. That is not playing for the manager. It's a matter of not listening to the manager's instructions. Today, he had nothing. He just the images on TV that I saw, and I don't know if it's the same feed. I'm watching on Bleacher Report Live. Obviously, you're watching on a different platform, so I don't know if the camera work is the same. But every time they showed Unai Emery on the touchline, he's pointing here, he's gesturing over there. But there were moments where he was just stood there, hands in his pockets, devoid of any emotion, and I think any rational ideas as to how to change this. At this point, we're a broken record, Hopes. We just keep saying, we come on here week after week, we just keep saying the same thing.
I know. Yeah.
You almost don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to say anymore.
I'll tell you one thing though, but at least what this does for me, that's the reason why I came on tonight, because it just helps me release that frustration. And in one sense, had I been there tonight, I would have cheered if Aubameyang scored. There's no way I would not want my team to win. Now, whether they're playing or not, whatever's going on behind the scenes, I think it was very professional for Aubameyang, just to, maybe that was his instincts, whatever. But I think it was good that he celebrated. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I mean, people, there are fans, I believe, who still want Unai Emery in. You know,
I don't understand that. If you're a fan that still wants Unai Emery in, I challenge you to tweet me why. Convince me why you think that. Not you, Hopes. I know you don't feel that way, but I can't wrap my brain around anyone at this point actually thinking that Unai Emery staying at the club is at all good for us.
If I put their hat on, what I've heard between the lines is that these fans believe he has not been given enough time. Suddenly, Unai Emery is the victim, and poor him, the players have down tools. And it's kind of, I guess it's the sorry vote. It's like, oh, well, you gave Arsene Wenger 22 years, but Arsene Wenger had credit in the bank. Unai Emery doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, I mean, you know, you just have to see the lowest attendance tonight in a long time, where people just haven't even sold their ticket on. I thought it was hilarious that the Frankfurt fans managed to get in. Did you see that on your feed?
Oh yeah. Well, let me address that real quick. The funny thing is, I don't know if you were on Twitter, but there were a lot of people who were tweeting a picture of the away supporter section. It was empty, and they're tweeting that picture as though that was an accurate representation of the entire stadium. To me, that's not true. There were fans there. What would you guess? How many fans would you guess were there tonight? 10,000? 15? 20?
Yeah, roughly. Probably about, I'd say, in the regions of about 50 or 20. I saw a tweet by a credible source saying there were 49,000 seats sold for tonight. Now, how many of them attended is another question altogether. But I mean, that's even more ammunition. Like, the board have seen this.
Mm-hmm.
The board have seen this. How much more do they need to see? Because that's why I stopped blaming Unai. It's not his fault. You know, he's on a contract. He's been given money. Whether he stays or leaves, he gets that money. So it's up to the board, right, to say, all right, we as the responsible managers, you know, the management team per se,
upper management, sure,
upper management, who have full say and full control of this club. This is unacceptable to us, even before the fans kick off and say whatever. And therefore, this is what we're going to do. But Tanner, it's just, I mean, what's your take on that? Like, who, for you personally, is it Unai or is it the board? Like, if you were to point the finger right now, which direction are you pointing your fingers in?
The board. It becomes a matter of the board Emery's not going to walk away. Emery's not going to quit. He's not going to look at it and say, you know what, I'm not doing a good job here, or I'm in over my head. He's never, first of all, his ego won't let him admit the latter. The board now are the problem. You don't see one bad result or one bad performance and say, manager's got to go. You have to see a run of bad performances, and we've now seen this for, let's see, April, May, at the end of last season, and now I'd say at the very least October and November. So we've been seeing a not even results, a run of poor performances for the better part of 4 months now, 4.5 months, if you take it back into mid-September of this year. Put that into perspective in an entire season, and you're completely out of the top four race if you do this, which we are. And the board now are the ones that you have to directly point the finger at if they don't sack him. And at this point, the game ended, what, 45 minutes ago, 35 minutes ago, and I've not heard anything that he has been sacked. I just don't. The finger gets pointed directly at Raul and Edu, whoever the one is that it will be, whoever the decision maker is, whoever is going to pull the trigger. They are the one who is directly responsible for this now.
Yeah, one of our boards, I mean, first and foremost, I wholeheartedly agree with you. And one of our board's members, Sir Keswick, I forget his name.
Chips Keswick, yeah.
That's the one. Mm-hmm. He came out and said, we have an operations team and they deal with this sort of stuff. So the board are kind of, it's almost like finger pointing. No, don't look at us. This is not on us. This is your operations team. Which I find really worrying. Why? Because as a board member, you employed your operations team. You had a direct say in it. You may be sat in during the interview process or not, what have you. But therefore, that's why I say whoever's in the operations team, whatever it's made up of, ultimately for me, it's with the board. Now, moving fast forward on to your latter point there about he should be gone by tonight. I tweeted that. I said, if the board have any respect for or any love for our club, he should be gone tonight. Now, let's say you are, well, quite frankly, the manager of Norwich. The manager of Norwich is watching this. What is your game plan for your players if you're the Norwich manager?
Yeah. I'm running out of words at this point. I really am. I don't know anymore. This show is going to become very difficult to do if we keep Unai Emery in, because it's just going to be the same thing week in and week out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, Norwich were watching this game, right? Their manager, their scouts, or whoever. What would be the takeaway miss? What would be Norwich's game plan against us on Sunday? What do you reckon?
I'm sorry. I think my feed may have cut out there. I missed that.
Okay.
If I'm the Norwich manager and I just saw that performance, attack. Just out and out, just go at them, bomb everything forward. If the ball ends up in my goalkeeper's hands, kick that thing 80 yards. If I'm the goalkeeper, I'm pressing the button on FIFA with my goalkeeper. Get everybody upfield. Go. I would play, if I were a manager right now against with a team that were going to play us, I'm probably starting easily my six best attacking players. There's no creativity. We have no creativity. I don't trust the Arsenal, and just from an opponent manager's perspective, I don't trust that Unai Emery is going to give me far too much respect. He's going to give my club far too much respect, and I'm going to make him pay for it. I am going to go out and I'm going to try to hang 8 on them. I'm very much of the mind there's sportsmanship in youth sports. There's no sportsmanship from a score standpoint in professional sports. Our job is to go score goals. If we don't score, we're not going to win. Our job is to score goals. It's your job to stop us. Now, obviously, their job to score goals as well. You understand what I mean? My entire philosophy is to go score goals, because I can't win a game if I don't score. That said, going up against this Arsenal team, boy, oh boy, I'm licking my chops. There's blood in the water. If I'm Norwich, I'm everybody forward, and just anytime Bernd Leno has the ball in his foot, press him. I'm running at least 3 players forward down towards the end line. I want to create a trap in a corner, because I know that if Leno has the ball, he's not really going to go downfield. He's going to go left or right, or he'll go short up the field. 3 players easily within not in the 18-yard box, but within 18 yards of the end line, and I'm pressuring everybody from that area back. I'm pressing the ball at every chance I get. That said, if I were the Arsenal manager, I'd be doing the same thing with my attacking players, because we have the talent, in my opinion, to do this. But that said, my CV's not going to get me the Arsenal manager job. So,
no, well, you made a fantastic point. We have the attacking players. Let's not forget, about a week and a half ago, Torreira was man of the match for his country.
Yep.
Yep. He was man of the match. We have international players. With that front 3, I mean, Laka and Pepe didn't even play tonight. you know. So even if they do play, if I was a Norwich manager, I'd be like, there's not going to be any service. Just cut off the service lines to them.
Yep.
Like you then said, press them like mad. And even if we concede, don't worry, because the minute they concede, they will capitulate. And when I say they, Arsenal, the minute we concede, everybody will just, you know, and we kind of know after the Southampton game, Unai Emery's lineup's probably going to be 5 again at the back. He's going to play the wing backs. And they're just going to say, no problem. Let their wing backs have the ball because they can't cross it and they can't do anything with it anyway, apart from Tierney, let's be honest. And yeah, you know, as soon as we, you know, we'll hit them on the counter. We'll break. Their defense is old. They're outdated. And it's just the same old game plan. It's just like watching the same film over and over again. But yet the board, let's go back to the board momentarily. It's like, no, it's okay. It's acceptable. Why? Is because season tickets are not coming up for renewal. There's no imminent like shirt changes or anything. The sponsors are in the bag. So is Josh Kroenke now just waiting for some good news, i.e. going to find the replacement, or his team are going to find the replacement? Then Josh will come in front of the camera and say, hey, you know, yeah, you know, we listen to the fans and here you go. Here is the next manager. The matter of the fact is that even if they don't have anyone lined up, and there's the argument, okay, who is available, so on and so forth. So what? Just give it to Freddie. Give it to Freddie, like bring Bold back, give it to the pair of them, you know, buy time somehow. At least the players will buy back in. Because no matter how good Unai's tactics are, with the players not on side, just not good enough. You know, they've checked out. It's like, see you later. Just, you know, you can shout, you can scream, you can tell us whatever, but we ain't going to do it. Going back to your example about Tierney and Aubameyang or Lacazette, I don't know which one it was, to say, no, look, don't listen to him.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a sad state of affairs. I think towards the end of Arsene Wenger's tenure, you know, we saw similarities, but even then, was it this bad? I'm just trying to remember, you know.
No, I don't. It was nowhere near this bad. See with Wenger, my take with Wenger was he got probably. I'm going to say he probably was given 3 or 4 years too many. He probably should have been gone 2016 at the latest, after the 2017 season. So that's even only 2 years. But then again, we won the FA Cup in 2016. We won the FA Cup. So, you know, and Wenger, as you said earlier, he had a lot of goodwill built up in the bank. So he was always going to get more time probably than what he should have to see if he could right the ship, simply because of you know, past experiences and past past performances and victories and successes. Unai Emery doesn't have any of that, and we're regressing immensely at this point under Unai Emery. He is now coaching the life out of the players. He's coaching the talent out of the players. And if this keeps up, if he's not gone, the players are going to leave. And I put out a tweet. What's worst case scenario here? You know, is worst case scenario obviously is relegation, and I don't think we're staring at relegation by any stretch of the imagination. We're not. I think on accident we'll stay in the Premier League, but I think worst case scenario is, you know, fighting off relegation. Certainly, our best players leaving in the summer for greener pastures, and who could blame them? They're not leaving for more money. They're leaving for better football. They're leaving for an opportunity to win a trophy, to play Champions League, and you can't blame them for that. You know, I just kind of put my head down here. I'm stunned.
A question about the players: do the players, the likes of Aubameyang, Lacazette, and whoever else, Xhaka, let's say for argument's sake, maybe Torreira, because these are the players who, you know, it's rumoured that they want to leave. Are they checking out do they want to leave because of the manager or because of the overall management structure of the club? Do you think? Because if I was a professional footballer, I mean, I'm not, but in any walks of life, I want to join a company, I want to join a team, I want to join whatever, because of the people, the association, like minds. Okay, sure, the club's going through a downtime. It's only a manager, we can replace him. But is it because they've actually had enough? Because it's just pure and utter bullshit. And they just see it. They're just going to think, yeah, mate, you can bring in Klopp, you can bring in Pep, right? What you're going to do? Like, just put them in handcuffs. There you go. Now we have Pep. Now we have Klopp. Right, we're not going to give you any money. Now go and work miracles. Right, okay, okay, that's arguable. It might be a bit excessive because Unai Emery was given some money. However, have other players now beginning to think, just sod Arsenal? This is much more bigger for me personally than Unai Emery. And it's very easy. So I think you've got fans in different camps. So you've got, let's say, the millennials, like born around the 2000s, what have you, for argument's sake, who, or even after, but they didn't really see that real success, the Invincibles or what have you, or maybe they were too young. And then you've got the old school fans who have seen like success at this club. And then you've just got, I guess, the people who just want to support a club for the sake of supporting the club. So depending on who you ask, right, some will just say, yeah, it's Unai. Yeah, it's Unai. And it's so easy because Unai is the fall guy. He's there. He's taking all of that crap. A bit like a lot of people were saying Arsene Wenger. He's keeping things under wraps. Yeah, he was always professional, no matter what, in his press conferences. He would never blame. I'm not saying Unai's not. But what I am saying is, are the players now saying, we've had enough of these lies? They're just lies. You're not showing us. You're not showing us any intent. When to get to sign on the contract is money or this, that, or the other. But okay, after money, a player wants to have those accolades, those trophies, those whatever. Right, like in the bank. Yeah, we played in finals or semi-finals, or we won the league. We competed. This was our, but there's not even that at Arsenal anymore. And therefore, I kind of feel we're in that state which I feared back in 2007, 2008. Even before Wenger won those 3 FA Cups post 2007, 2008, whereby I always could see, Tanner, that all of this, you could argue, all this favoritism to Wenger, all this money he's saving is only going to have to be spent when he leaves. We're cutting our nose, spite our face kind of thing. And, so that's what I say. Like, depending on what type of fan you are, some will take the easy route and say it's Wenger. Some won't. Some will look at the board. I mean, what time is it there in the States for you? Like, is it late?
5:40, quarter till 6 in the evening.
Oh, in the evening. Okay.
Yeah, just dinner time.
But I mean, all the fans over the world have seen this tonight, and they saw Saturday's game. And it's just like, how much more is this board going to allow our name, our history, the foundations which our club is built on, to be dragged through the mud? And who's going to hold them accountable? Because I don't think, I just cannot see, I mean, me included, I will hold my hands up, like Arsenal fans protesting. Yeah, if something was organised, I'd happily go along. But which way? I think there'd be too many arguments on who, how, where. I see the We Care Do You movement have put out a statement a couple of weeks ago, or but it's just everyone's just looking at someone because everyone's in disbelief. Like, what is going on? I mean, what are your thoughts on that in terms of the different types of fans and what they believe and how they're seeing things?
Well, let me hit your first question with the players and if we changed a manager, really, would it make a difference? Because are they looking at on-field management or are they looking at off-the-field management? I think if we got in a manager who played to our strengths, or who coached, excuse me, to our strengths, then I think you'll see if Torreira gets put in his natural position as that holding defensive midfielder, if Aubameyang and Lacazette and Pepe and Ozil and look, I'll put Saka and Reece Nelson and Joe Willock into that category as well. They're attacking players. I think if you get in a manager who releases the handbrake, so to speak, on them and lets them play, I think if we start to win and start to turn things around, I think they'll stay. I think they'll sign the contract. I really believe that. I think it really right now is down to just Unai Emery, because there was a bit of intention there, I think, shown over the summer with management and ownership. Now ownership, we got Pepe in, and okay, we didn't pay the $72 million up front for him, and the net spend I think was something like $13 million. But there was intention shown there. We're not going to go out. We're not going to give up all of our worst players and go out and get every other team's best players. That's just not the way sports works. And I understand that most sports fans want all of the best players. I do too, but it's not realistic. You have to be realistic. So I think it's a matter of the intention was shown. We got in some players that I think coached the right way can help us. So I do think, to answer the question long ways, I think it is just down to Unai Emery right now. To your point about the different types of fans, I'll be honest with you. For me, I feel like I'm a bit of all of them mixed in together. And I'll say that, and I'll tell you why. I really kind of fell in love with the club, sort of the 89-90 season, because that was, I was young. I was 11, and I'm American. I can't pay attention to this stuff. There's no such thing as the internet. I couldn't spell internet at that point. But I was able to get the results and know when they played, but I never saw a highlight or anything like that. So I'm an old school fan at heart, no matter who the team is. I thrive on the traditions of my sports teams, the older traditions of my favorite sports teams. So I thrive on the old school mentality of the Arsenal. That 89 team is probably my favorite team when I look at, just partly because of that was the team that got me interested and excited. But when I go through the history of Arsenal and I think of where the club have been, who they've been, that team, there was just something about that team. The likes of Tony Adams, that dude's he's going to drag you kicking and screaming to a victory. Despite yourself. The Invincibles, obviously, Thierry Henry was my favorite player. Is my favorite player of all time. And that's more the offensive thing. And then, kind of the internet was up and running at that point, and I could find some things. So I think I get a little bit of all of it. And now the millennial aspect, those, folks who are 18, 20 years old, being born around 2000. Well, I'm American, and I'm just now able, within the last 4 years, to be able to watch every game over here. And to that end, I actually think I've got a little better than you guys do, because I actually can watch every single game. I can watch every single Premier League game over here, not just every Arsenal game. I can watch every single Premier League game over here. Now, if I pay a little extra, I could watch, if I'm a Liverpool fan, can't believe I just said that. But I could watch every one of their matches in Champions League. If I were a Napoli fan, I could watch every single one of their matches over here in America. I have that luxury. So I think I'm a bit of all of it wrapped up. And each one has their obviously, it's like anything else, Hopes. You have your pros, you have your cons to anything. The pros of being an older school fan is you've seen a lot of great triumphs. We've seen a lot of this club be very, very successful and do something that has never been done with the Invincibles. Being a millennial, you understand maybe a little better the dynamic now surrounding professional sports via social media better than the old school fan does. And the cons, obviously, the old school fans. There's, I want to say there's a bit of an entitlement, but I think we have an expectation with this club based on past successes that says, no, this isn't us. This is not who we are. We should be where Leicester and City and Chelsea are right now. We should be in that pack, and we should be fighting for our place. I will just say fighting for second through fourth. I think Liverpool far and away are the better side, are the top side in the league this year. But the millennials have not really seen that. Sure, they may have been around for the Invincibles, but probably don't remember it. They've seen some FA Cups in there, and their thing is more at this point the toxicity around the club. That'll be their con, because they can get, just like we're doing right now, their opinion out to the world. And no matter how vile or vitriolic that opinion may be, they can do that. And I think the millennial fan is and I don't really want to get off on this topic, but as an example, I think the boundary between the old school and the new school is AFTV. As not them per se being, they are not actually the boundary, but as an example, I think that is the boundary. It's a good example of the boundary, because the millennials will go there because of the social media aspect. Old school fans, we never had that. We don't need that. We don't want that. So I think that's the divide between the two. And whatever your feelings are on AFTV, like I said, don't really want to go off on a rant about those.
Yeah.
But,
no, I've got another question for you. Yeah, I don't want to go down that route anyway. I've got another question for you. How did you watch the game to the end after the whistle went? Yeah, today.
I did. I watched until so Bleacher Report live over here. It's a, how do I explain this? It's an app on my Apple TV. So eventually that feed will just stop. There's no post-game discussion with pundits or anything like that. I don't get that like I do. I'll say like I do Premier League or American sports. The feed was just the stadium, and then I saw probably saw a good 5 minutes after the game actually ended. But what I saw was scenes of the stadium, players applauding. I think probably the last thing I saw was the Frankfurt players walking over to the utterly empty away supporter section, but there were folks up in the club level. They went over and they were applauding their fans who actually got into the ground. But then after that, that was pretty much it. I saw Aubameyang clapping the fans. Socrates came straight off. That was pretty much what I saw.
The reason why I asked you that question and you haven't said it, and I was waiting for you because you haven't brought it up, right? Did you see Granit Xhaka? What he did at the end after the whistle?
I watched the whole thing. I did not. The camera. So back to my point about not sure if they're sharing feeds or not. Did not show Granit Xhaka after the final whistle. I did not see him.
Well, let me tell you, my friend. After the final whistle, and you saw Aubameyang and like clap the fans and Socrates, just go off, and a lot of players just walk off. Granit Xhaka embraced the opposition players, literally like sort of fist bump, and he was smiling. He had a huge smile, like he was laughing. You'll see it on social media. Okay. And I tell you, that was an arrow in my heart. Okay, whatever beef there is with the fans and Xhaka, that's one thing. But to me, that is very insulting and very massively disrespectful. You've just lost. Now, okay, fair enough, because of his links to Germany and whatnot. Go and do that. Behind the cameras.
Sure.
You just before these last two games, he was our manager. Would you see Tony Adams? You mentioned Tony Adams before. Our back four when Tony Adams was there, that used to be the England back four, right? Dixon, Winterburn, Keown, Adams, Bold.
Bold, yep.
Right? and so week in, week out, especially in the Premier League, or even before it was, the Premier
flight.
League. Yeah, absolutely. Like they would obviously know the other internationals.
Sure.
But there's no way on this planet, I don't think any of them, after a loss, especially after a loss, would go and just smile. You'll see. I'm sure it will go out on social media, and I just thought, what is this guy doing? To me, it sort of was like, you know what? I'm going anyway, so screw you guys because you haven't been great to me. So I'm just gonna, act totally unprofessional about it. Again, this is my own speculation and my opinion, but it's not speculating to say that that's what Granit Xhaka did. Like, you'll see it on there are clips like floating around on social media. I watched it, and where you see, you touched about you being able to watch every game. It's the same here. We can watch Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs. Okay, not in bars or pubs or anything like that. But there is, like any team, anywhere, anytime, we can watch them. Even the pre-season friendlies, wherever they're playing, as long as it's being televised, it's possible.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you know what I mean, right? But yeah, so that's what I was just watching on a main channel here, which is BT Sport. They have the rights for Europa League football. And when I saw that, I just thought, Granit Xhaka, what are you doing? That was just like the nail in the coffin, almost like he's going in January or something, because there's no way I'd be doing that. And that was his comeback game as well. Mm-hmm. That was his comeback game. I mean, how do you feel after I've just told you that?
The laughing part is what I think. That's the part that I don't like. Shaking a hand, a bro hug, a fist bump. To me, those things that's a bit of sportsmanship. And I'll say this: the only sports really in America, well, it's half and half. If you watch an American football game, at the end of the game, players are players. Everybody, moves to the center of the field, and guys from both you shake hands, whatever. Good job, see, whatever. And being a Patriots fan, the camera inevitably goes right to Tom Brady to show him interacting with the other team's quarterback. And after the Patriots played the Ravens. I'm using this as an example. The Patriots played the Baltimore Ravens here a few weeks ago. The Patriots were undefeated. They went to Baltimore and got absolutely thrashed by the Ravens. And their quarterback is an MVP candidate this year in the NFL. And at the end of the game, here comes Brady seeking out the Baltimore Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson is his name, seeking him out to congratulate him. And you think to yourself, what are you doing? But it's a little different over here, I think. So that mentality for me is it's a bit of a sign of good sportsmanship. But Brady wasn't coming over to Lamar Jackson, hey man, yeah, good job, great, blah blah blah. It was none of that. It was walk over. It was very professional, very businesslike. Shake his hand. Hey, man, great game. You look great out there. You played real well. Congratulations. Best of luck the rest of the way. That's usually what players say. You'll see it in basketball. You'll see it in the NBA. You don't see it in Major League Baseball, and you don't see it in professional ice hockey. And those sports players go right into their locker rooms when the game is over, and that's the end of it. There's no shaking of hands, nothing. I'll say this. At the end of every playoff series in professional ice hockey in the National Hockey League, if you played a sport when you were a kid, at the end of the game, I'm sure you lined up and you had to shake the hand of the other team. At least we did here. In the NHL, in the National Hockey League, that is a tradition. You get in a line, you skate down, and you shake the hand of every player from the other team. Now, are guys smiling? No. The guys who won, sure, they're smiling. They're happy. The guys who didn't win, they're not smiling. Typically, it's hey, good job, congratulations, good luck the rest of the way, whatever the case may be. The smile part of it, that kills me. Going over and shaking a guy's hand after a game, we see it all the time. We see it at the end of every game. But smiling, laughing, joking, you just lost, man. You just lost. And you didn't play well in the loss. Not saying that Xhaka played poorly. I don't think he played all that poorly, quite frankly. I don't really think he was all that noticeable. I actually had it in my head that he was going to score a screamer from about 45 yards to level the game at the end there. I don't know. I just had a feeling. But shaking a hand, a fist bump, whatever, a cordial exchange at the end of a game with an opponent is not going to bother me. A laugh, a conversation on the field, that bothers me. One thing I want to say to that end is I try to be as objective and as real a sports fan as I can possibly be. In other words, I'm a fan. I'm a massive sports fan, as I think I've demonstrated, more than once on the shows that I've been on. These guys, the one thing that fans need to understand with the guys on their team in football, in I'll say soccer, so there's no confusion. In soccer, it's a little different because there are academies, and these guys can start with these academies at a young age. A guy like Joe Willock, who's been a part of this club he's been there since he was 8 years old, I think, something like that. It's a little different for those guys. But a player like Aubameyang, who came from Dortmund before he was at Dortmund, he was in France, and Lacazette being with Lyon in France, and I'm not even sure where he was before that. Torreira being in Napoli, Mustafi being in Spain, Socrates, just as examples. There's a loyalty there. So insofar as the paycheck for players like that, they want to win. They want to leave it all out on the pitch, but they want to win. But at the end of the day, they don't feel, most of them I don't think feel for the club the way that we do. And just to I'll say, to put it in perspective for you and I, or for anyone watching, think of your job. Think of whatever your job is. You're going to go to work and you're going to do the best job that you can because you have a little respect in yourself, first of all, but you're being paid. But are you, unless you've been with this for the majority of your life, which is obviously not the case, these guys, it's a job to them, I think, first and foremost. And that's the one thing that therein lies the difference between the players and the supporters. For us, it has been a lifelong passion. It is in our DNA, as we say. It's, we've been born into it. For the players, they've been conditioned, and the reason they're professional athletes is they can separate the fan from, because I'm sure there are fans, and I'm sure they grew up rooting for a team. But they can separate the fan from the professional. So to tie all that together, I think the smile, the laugh from Xhaka, that bothers me. I don't have a problem with a handshake or a fist bump, but I don't want to see you laughing and carrying on after the game with somebody from the other team. Do that behind closed doors, after the shower, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I just want to say something in response to what you said there, and then I've just got two more points, and then we can wrap up because I know it's 48. Unless you've got more things you want to say. So before I bring in these two things into the mix, I wholeheartedly agree. In whatever walk of life I'm in, or just forget me, but that's the way I've been brought up. That's the way I am. Okay, I will, out sportsmanship, I would always shake the other person's hand. Fair enough. And just to clarify, Tanner, it was not a smile. It was it was just like he was sat down in a bar with his friends, just having a good old laugh.
It's like he's down with his mate having a pint.
Yeah. He was laughing. It wasn't a smile. He was clearly laughing. And I found that really, really insultive. But hey, let's, it'll be interesting to see how that is, how that plays out amongst the types of fans we've identified earlier this evening. Okay, so now going on to my next point. One of my 2 points was, who's your man of the match for tonight?
For us?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just come on here and just bash Arsenal on the board and stuff, as a fan. Do you know what I mean? Bit of lightheartedness. The best of a bad bunch. Put it that way, Tanner.
Yeah. Best of a bad bunch. Wow. It's tough to hand out a man of the match when you lose. I would see. I'm not always one to go with a goal scorer. I know a lot of people tend to just hand it to the guy that scored the goal. I could give it to Joe Willock. I actually thought Joe Willock played a half decent game. Yeah, nah. I may have to give it to Aubameyang just because he scored. Now that I think about it, I got to give it to Aubameyang just because he scored. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I mean, I didn't watch much of the game, but from what I saw, I would say Martinelli for two reasons. A, because he played in a position which was, he's kind of not, that's not really his position. He's normally on the left or he's out and out, right?
Yep.
And number two, because he assisted Aubameyang. Without that, Pierre just wouldn't have managed to get that goal. So I think that requires a lot of grit. But yeah, overall, I'm totally with you. It's very difficult when it was that bad. It's just that I thought I'd ask you that question so so it's not all negative.
I try to find the silver lining on the cloud. Yeah.
Because I love Arsenal, and there's always, that's why my name's Hopes, I always hope.
Let me say one thing real quick. I stood up, and the last image I now remember, the very last image that I saw of the game was in the North Bank, looking straight down at the clock end. Now this was after the game, stadium pretty much empty, and I stood up. I was sitting on my couch, and I stood up, stretched out, and I said, I'm going to be there next week. In 1 week, literally from this time, I'll be there. Yeah. And I'm like, and that's, I don't know, man. I'm still excited. I'm still excited to go over and be there. And it's so much more than just going to the game. It's so much more than that. It's just the atmosphere I stood up and looked at it. I'm like, literally in 1 week, I will be there.
Wow.
And yeah, but
yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, okay, I don't like to lose. I don't like to see my team lose. I don't like to see us in disarray. But at the end of the day, man, my heart's Arsenal. I don't care where they are. And when I go to the stadium, as a season ticket holder, there is still that togetherness. There's that oneness. Okay. Opinions may differ, but that's just the way life goes. Ultimately, I want us to do well. I still want Unai Emery to do well. Believe you me, I do. My heart.
Yep. If he's coaching Sunday against Norwich, I want to win. And even if it's a day of execution, if we win and we look good doing it, maybe there's a corner turn. Maybe the light bulb went off. Who knows? Yeah. I think it's untenable at this point. I think if we win, it's by accident. But that being said, your second point, go ahead.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it at the end of what you just said there. I mean, if we go to Norwich and we win, whether he gets more of a lifeline or not, who knows? But ultimately, yeah, I just want to put that out there. I do want to see him succeed, but my heart wants to see him succeed, but logically, I can't see it happening because the players have checked out. Now, going on, what's your prediction for Norwich? And what's your lineup as well? Yeah. Why don't we add that in? Lineup and number one lineup. Number two is prediction.
Lineup might be a little difficult simply because of the injury situation. Boy, oh boy, we were dropping like flies out there tonight. No Bellerin. At least I don't think he's going to be ready. I understand he picked up a hamstring injury in training, so I don't think he'll be ready. So obviously Leno goes back into the net. I think you come across the back with. I think he goes well. Mustafi had it, and Mustafi picked up a knock. He may not have a choice but to go back to a back four. So Chambers, Socrates, Holding, Tierney. If David Luiz, he was holding his. I don't know if you saw him when he came off. He was kind of holding. Let me adjust my camera. He's kind of holding like right here on him. So it was a very the knock that he took. It didn't look like it was much, but I mean, you just never know with these things. And I don't care how bad a player is playing. I don't ever want to see anybody get injured. I've dealt with injuries in my life, and that's just if you root for a player to get injured, piss right off. So the lineup is a hard thing to predict, I think, just because of the injuries. I don't know who's going to be available. He subbed off Mustafi, and I know he didn't want to when he put Torreira on. I think he wanted to put on either Lacazette or Pepe, and he couldn't because he had to take Mustafi off because of an injury. So if none of the players who came off today are available on Sunday, then I would say Chambers at right back, Socrates and Holding as your center halves, Tierney on the left. Boy, you got to think he's going to go in the midfield, Guendouzi, Torreira, Ozil, and then a front three of Alba, Lacazette, and maybe Pepe gets a shout. I don't think so. Well, he may go. I don't think Xhaka gets in the game. Are you asking me what I do? Let me ask you this. Are you asking me what I would do, or are you asking me what you think I think Emery will do? Or both?
Both.
What I would do, again, assuming no David Luiz, no Mustafi, no Bellerin, the back four I'd have to line up that way. Maybe throw Maitland-Niles back in there. I'd try to keep Socrates off the pitch. If it were me, I would go Maitland-Niles, Chambers, Holding, Tierney across the back, right to left. Torreira in front of them. Torreira, Guendouzi, Ozil, Lacazette, Aubameyang, Pepe would be my starting 11. If I were filling out the sheet, that's my 11.
You've missed one, no? In midfield, you've got Guendouzi, Ozil. Who else?
I thought Torreira.
Yep. Okay, it's not a bad shot.
I would line up basically this way. I would line up with that lineup. It would resemble a 4-1-2-3 sort of formation. That's kind of where I would go. I really want Torreira. I want him to get forward when space allows him to get forward, but more than anything else, I want him going side to side in front of the back four, winning the ball, trying to be that shield as best he can. I want to give Guendouzi I want to give him room to roam. I want Guendouzi to learn. The biggest thing for him is to learn when to get rid of the ball. That's his biggest problem is know when to pass the ball on. Ozil, I want Ozil forward creating, and then Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, do your thing. I don't really care where the three of you line up. I would look at the three of them and be like, I'd pull them all into my office. You three are my attackers. I don't really care where you are. If Lacazette's on the left, if Pepe's in the middle, and Aubameyang finds himself on the right, I'll see. You guys create your own chances. You guys do your own thing. I'm not. You can play better with creativity than what I can coach you. That's just me. What I think Emery will do: Chambers, Socrates, Holding, Tierney, midfield of Torreira, Guendouzi, Ozil, Aubameyang, Lacazette. I don't. Maybe Joe Willock. I don't. Maybe throws Saka back in there. Maybe Martinelli gets another shot. Maybe Martinelli gets a start. I really don't know how he's going to line up. The injury thing for me it makes it kind of tricky. I think you're going to see the same I think you'll see if David Luiz is healthy and ready to go for Sunday, then I think you see the same lineup you saw against Southampton.
Okay. For me, so let's just assume, let's omit Bellerin, Mustafi, and Luiz. For me, Emery's lineup, I believe Emery will go Leno, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Chambers, Socrates, Holding, and Tierney. He'll then play Xhaka and Guendouzi, and he will then play Pepe, Aubameyang, and Laka up front. That's what I believe. Yeah, that's what I believe. That's what I think Emery will go with. What I would like to do is go. Oh, let's have a look. Do I play 4? Right. Okay. Yeah, I do play 4. Right. Okay. So I go Maitland-Niles, Chambers, Holding, Tierney, Leno in goal. That's a given. Then I've got Torreira, CDM. Ahead of Torreira, I've got Willock and Ozil. And then I've got on the left Martinelli. Well, let's just say my front 3. Even you might want to play Martinelli on the right or what have you, like he did tonight. Ask him to do a job for us. Aubameyang and Lacazette up front. Now, why? Because that then gives 4-3-3. Yeah, that means it's a 4-3-3. But that's my option. Because then what I believe we could do, if Martinelli doesn't work out, we could take him off and put Willock on. Gives us the legs, because when we play Ozil, you actually have to have players around him who are willing to do the running. And for me, Torreira is that guy, and potentially Willock or Guendouzi, that they'll track back. It's just, but I just cannot help but feel he'll go with his 5-3-2 again. We'll go there. You know, he'll be all timid and like really fearful. And therefore, I actually believe, I'm not saying I want this, I actually believe we will lose. But why? Because Norwich have beat Man City.
And Everton.
And Everton, right? So if I was a Norwich manager, I would say, I don't care if they score 2, I know we can score 4.
Yep.
Right? In a dream, the best way, even in my wildest dreams, I would say we draw. But worst way, I think we're going to come away with a loss. Maybe 3-1.
That's exactly, get out of my head. That's exactly what I was going to say, 3-1.
But it friggin' hurts. It bloody well hurts to say this, you know? It really does. And it's so predictable. Even like now, whichever camp you're in as a fan, I think everybody could agree that we're probably going to do 5-3-2.
Yeah.
You know, and Maitland-Niles will come back. I mean, one good thing is that hopefully Holding and Chambers will be sandwiched. Well, Socrates will be sandwiched in between them two. Yeah. So they'll give him the legs, right? But otherwise it's kind of it's oh god, I'm dreading it already. I dread every game. But
it's the only reason I'm looking forward to it. Because when it's over, I'm 2 hours closer to getting on a plane to fly to London.
Be with the Arsenal fans.
And you know what? I when I first booked this trip and I first started talking to people about making the trip, I'll tell you this real quick, and then we'll wrap up. Well, let me put it to you this way. So I go to a lot of hockey games out here. I go watch the Pittsburgh Penguins play a lot. And I'm a big ice hockey fan. And whenever I would tell a friend or someone that, I'm going to the game, going to the hockey game, they're like, hey, have a good time. And the only thing and my response to have a good time was always, as long as they win. As long as they win. With this, it's a little different. I'm coming over there. I'm looking forward to everything that goes along with being in London at Christmas time, man. I trained down to Bath for a day. My fiance and I are going to Bath for the day, and I was saying at first, people say, "Oh, what are you going to London for?" And I would say to come over to watch the Arsenal, and have a great time. And my response was, as long as my guys win, I'll have a great time. As long as my guys win. But now, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to go to the games. I am going to enjoy the camaraderie. of, you know, having pints at the pub before and after the match and everything that goes, you know, into that. That's the biggest thing for me. I fully expect that it will be a loss on Sunday. I think 3-1. I think Norwich score first. I think we level it, and then I think they get it right back, and then they score one late, and there's your goal difference. But yeah, dire times, my friend. Dire times.
Absolutely. But hey, it's been a joy being on, and it's been great to actually. It's good therapy, this. And just one tip: if you're going to Bath, then make sure you bring some good walking shoes, because there's some steep hills in Bath. Bath is lovely. Bath is a lovely town. It's so gorgeous. But it's steep hills. You probably read up on that.
Well, we'll be right at home then, because here in Western Pennsylvania, have you ever heard the expression from an old my grandfather? When he was a kid, he had to walk to school, and it was uphill both ways.
Right. Okay.
Have you ever heard?
Yeah.
Here in Western Pennsylvania, that's the truth. No matter where you walk, you're going to walk uphill. So we're used to the hills, but I appreciate the tip. For me, I'll be fine. I'll make sure I tell the boss to dress comfortably and wear good walking shoes for sure.
Yeah. No heels. No heels on this one. No. But it's nice. It's nice to know that whatever happens against Brighton, at least you've got the trip to Bath, because it's a beautiful town. So there's my tourist board information bit for them. Not that I'm affiliated with them in any form of way or any shape or form, but just helping out a fellow Gooner. We'll get him
to chip in something for you. So
wicked.
Hey, Phillips, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on with me. Have a good night, brother. We'll talk soon, and hopefully you and I get to meet up when I get into town. Coming into the Brighton match, or if you were thinking of not going to the Brighton match, at least come in and meet me and have put a few back with me. So
it'll be a pleasure. Thanks a lot. Good night. Take care, Tanner. Good night, mate.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Give Hopes a follow. He's out there on Twitter. Not exactly sure of his handle at the moment. Give me 1 second, and I will give that to you. He is at Hopes, Hopez, at Hopes108. Make sure you give him a follow. Great dude, proper gooner. Can't wait to meet him while I'm over there. So appreciate you guys watching. That's all we got for you tonight. It doesn't look good right now. I know that Emery did give his press conference at the end of the game. So he has not been sacked that I am aware of. And I guess all we can do is look to tomorrow, and maybe there's a change made. So for now, as always, it is up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners, and we'll see you out there. Good talk.